Representative Maddox, I want to start with you here. Overall, in all aspects of the election process, be it a mail-in ballot, going in person, how secure do you consider our elections? Is there any areas of weakness?
I think that we have made considerable efforts in the Kentucky General Assembly over the last couple of years to ensure that our elections are fair and secure, including but not limited to requiring a voter ID. I think that was an extremely important piece of legislation that we passed, but also doing what we could to stop ballot harvesting by making that illegal and going to paper ballots. So I think that also the additional measures that we put in place to protect our poll workers really sent a strong message to Kentuckians all across the Commonwealth that we are committed to making sure that our elections are fair and secure. And the machines, by statute, cannot be connected to the internet. And I think that's another really important thing to emphasize.
Senator Thomas?
Boy, I agree with Representative Maddox. I think Kentucky elections have been very secure, been very fair. Have almost had any no issues of any kind of fraud or misuse. In fact, I commend Secretary Adams, and I've told him that publicly when he's come before legislative committee meetings, that I think he's done a great job as Secretary of State, making sure that we have outstanding election integrity. Again, I think whatever the results are here in this state on November 5th, I have no problem saying that those election results are correct and that we should accept the outcome of those elections.
Anytime there's a high number of absentee ballots being requested, the natural skepticism, it seems, on social media is that there could be a higher possibility of funny business occurring with mail-in ballots. What do you say to people that may have those kinds of concerns and bring those to you?
Well, again, without trying to be funny, I will say this. Nothing drives Democrats out to vote like Donald Trump. And when he's on the ballot, you're going to get a high turnout from Democrats because he's on the ballot. So I think this election has gotten a lot of attention. As we talked about off the air, there's been a lot of anxiety and interest in this election. So I expect us to break records here in Kentucky regarding turnout and people voting, which is a good thing for our democracy. That's what we want in our democracy. We want everybody to vote.
Representative Maddox, what do you think?
And I think the question is not whether or not we're going to have high turnout, it's whether or not we're going to break our record for turnout that we set in 2020, not just in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, but all across the nation. In Kentucky, I believe we had a 64% turnout, which is spectacular. I think that we are right on course to meet or exceed that, and I think that it's a good thing that we do, that people are out, involved, participating in the process. And the one thing that I would add is Senator mentioned that Donald Trump drives Democrats out, but as we know, Kentucky is Trump country, and citizens are very excited to get out and vote for Donald Trump, and I think they're going to show up in droves on Election Day.
Well, boy, you know my response on that. You've heard that since May. My response, again, I'll say this, at the end of October, just like I said at the end of May, Donald Trump will not crack 60% in this election. This will be a better election for Democrats versus Donald Trump than we've ever seen in Kentucky before.
And we will certainly know before here in the next few days, by Election Day for sure. Representative Maddox, I'll let you go ahead and get a last word in here. As we wrap up, this will be another election since the presidential election. We get voting centers. We also have expanded early voting days. Is that the right fit, or there could be further discussions about that?
I'm so glad you asked. I was not a proponent of changing the manner of election, and I actually voted no, dating back all the way to 2020, whenever we were changing the manner of our election, expanding the amount of time that we could vote. I have always thought that serious people, be they seriously conservative or seriously liberal, can show up on Election Day with a voter ID and cast a paper ballot. And we have always had the ability for folks who are going to be out of town or were perhaps ill or serving overseas to get an absentee ballot. So I have not been overtly supportive of expanding the days in which we could vote early, but at the same time, I think that it's important that we do vote and we show up strong and stand firm in our convictions.
All right. That's all the time we got for this segment.